Courage. Courage is the key to life itself.
Lagos Racecourse is the scene, and it's the afternoon of Nigeria's great day. Entertainers fairly let themselves go, tumbling head over heels with delight. Union flag flying for the last time. This was the dramatic takeover by the new nation's own green and white flag.
Nigeria had barely crawled out of colonial rule in 1962, thanks to the invaluable contributions of ultra-nationalist elements like Malam Aminu Kano, whose persistent cries of freedom unsettled the foundations of colonial rule in Nigeria. He lived in the future.
We believe in tomorrow. We believe in the young children of today. We are prepared to borrow something from the past, but not prepared to go back to the past.
Like the biblical wise man, Malam Aminu Kano saw the star in baby Kennedy's dawning skies and went out of his way to see the child bearing gifts. With a deliberate gift of £1 at the time, he symbolically sealed the boy's fate as a rising star from the east.
Well, I was told that story. That's when I was born, that we had this august visitor in Kano. And he opened the hand of the child, which was me, and placed a £1 into the hands, and my mom kept that £1 for a very long time. And when I was to go to secondary school, she brought it out from her bag and said, listen, Aminu Kano gave you this as a gift, that she wanted to believe that that must be something very special. Therefore, that I should bear that in mind as I go to school.
Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. William Shakespeare. For little Ken, though evidently born great, the Shakespearean 3 shades of greatness would later happen to him in a manner that succinctly captures Malam Aminu Kano's clairvoyant gestures.
I was raised in Lagos. My ambition was to go to King's College, and I made it. I passed the common entrance exam. That must have been in 1975. So I passed it, and my dad was away, and we were all jollophing, enjoying ourselves, waiting for him to come back so that we announced the pleasant news. But when he came back, he took the slip from us and he threw it away and went upstairs, took his shower, came back and said, you know what, I'm not going to be part of this. I want my first son to school in the East. And that was very heartbreaking for me, my mom. My mom lobbied him. He said no. And he came back and said, listen, prepare this guy. They are taking federal government entrance. I'm looking forward to the results. Once he makes aggregate 36, I'm very sure he'll go to one of the best government colleges in the East. And the result came out. Behold, I made the aggregate 36. And the first choice he put, not me anyway, was Government College Afibo.
As is the case with most things that become great, Ken's beginnings were made humble by design. The first few steps into his long walk to greatness were marked in the village, where he was compelled to begin his academic sojourn under the watchful, caring eyes of his grandmother.
I landed in Owerri. My grandmother took over completely, emphasized on my middle name because everybody called me Ken in Lagos. But my grandmother insisted that that name, middle name, has to be Onyali. And Onyali means the owner of the land, the landlord. And she told me that it comes with a price. It means you have to live like that. You own the land, but it comes with its own responsibilities. And those responsibilities is that I will give you all the care, I will give you all the support, but you give me back distinction that she heard from the market that some guy made grade 1 and that she didn't know what that was because she didn't go to school. But she said, whatever it is, you have to get it back to me. So we had a deal, and then I kept my eye focused on it because she reminded me every other time she had the opportunity to say, listen, you have to give me the grade 1.
When Grandma instinctively changed his conventional middle name to the more predictive and unconventional Onyali, which means owner of the land or landlord, she was predicting the future. With the foundational blessings of a loving grandmother, The stars were perfectly aligned in Ken's favor, and he spilled A's in class like he was an A-grade minting machine. His all-A's trajectory would later earn him a federal government scholarship to study in Moscow, Russia, where he minted more A's and later bagged his doctorate degree at the young age of 29.
What struck me was the sheer size of the university, the sheer size of the academic infrastructure that I saw. So I read my economics, specialized in econometrics, did planning and masters. And the result of that is that if you achieve a certain score, the Russians would recommend that you take a United Nations scholarship. That was how I went to the Academy of Sciences. In the Academy of Sciences, you have Institute for Europe, Institute for Africa, Institute for Asia, so that if you are studying economics, they teach you Africa so that you understand it to death, so that you are an expert in that area. In record time at 29, November 1991, I had defended a doctorate degree.
Young, restless, and hungry for his glorious hour, Dr. Ken left Moscow for the UK and straightaway dived into the boisterous labor market of the United Kingdom in London.
I decided I wasn't going to come to Nigeria and struggle. I needed to come in a big way. And what did I do? I decided to go and work. I kept the degree aside. I was part of the workforce that built Canary Wharf. I drove tractors there. I managed warehouses. I was supervisor at some point because I had basic education, which they realized.
Like a man driven by the oracles of destiny, Dr. Ken saw beyond his Canary Wharf occupation and abruptly made the decision to return to Nigeria, where he was quickly hired into a management position at Shell Oil while he was still a youth corper. He would later resign voluntarily from Shell in search of that iconic star that heralded his birth.
While I was still in Shell, an opportunity came for me to join the marketing communication industry. And for me, I think that was where fate met reality, because you wouldn't know how sweet it is to make money from something you love, because if you want to understand market, then you have to understand consumer. And if you want to understand consumer, you have to understand consumer journey. If you want to understand consumer journey, then you must know data so that you can have primary and secondary data, mine it so that you get hindsight, insight, and foresight. And that's what planning is. So I was coached again and trained to work that way and become a strategist. But to consolidate on that, Insight sent me to Lagos Business School. First in South Africa, and then came back here to Nigeria, did all those business school, and they paid for all that.
At this point, the genius is unleashed, and like a firecracker, he made explosions after explosions in the creative advertising space.
Dr. Ken is somebody who is very reserved, but he is very smart and intelligent.
He is a man of great intelligence, well articulate.
He says things and they stay with you. He's clever.
Very focused human being.
Very courageous, competent, and has great capacity.
His mastery of the craft came second to none. His fame had gone through the roof. He was set for the skies and nothing, it seemed, could stand in his way, until it dawned on him he couldn't take that flight without a co-pilot.
Because of the kind of job I did, I traveled a lot. So I wasn't going to submit myself to marriage early. But I knew that I had to do it. First and foremost, I'm first son, and I needed to start a family, proper one, and I needed to get myself organized in that context. But it was clear to me what I wanted from a wife. So I had been a strategist, so I had drawn a box and I put what I wanted. Then I told God, if I can get 70% of it, the rest, nobody is perfect, because I am not perfect too, but I want 70% of this. So I met a couple of people, but no, not 70%, until I ran into Neka. But I didn't run into her because I saw her first. It came through recommendation.
I lived in this estate with this gentleman who was his friend, and he normally comes to visit.
I visited him every Saturday. We watched the Arsenal games together. Ofo said, you know what? I have seen your wife. I said, you're kidding. So I came to his house. So we are looking through the window, just like you do in UK when you want to gossip. She didn't see us, but we were looking, and Ofo was telling me, that's your wife. And I said, yes. So he said, you know what, I'm going to go and tell her that we want to have breakfast with her. So he went across because they were quite friendly. I said, I have a friend and I promised him breakfast. Let's do breakfast. And that tested her generosity. She said, yeah, why not? I just, she ran to the kitchen, did egg and... Listen, there is no better cook in the world than Nega, I can tell you. So under 10 minutes, the breakfast is ready. And in Nega's breakfast or lunch or dinner is not basic Nigerian breakfast. It's 3-course meal and is of the premium quality of the highest order. Till tomorrow. And she delivers that with ruthless consistency.
One thing led to another, and everything else is history.
Dr. Ken was out to fetch a co-pilot, but God heard the prayers of his grandmother and came through with a dependable rock, a relentless lover, and an incredible homemaker to whom he is heavily indebted. Like a match made in heaven, lines began falling for them in pleasant places. At home, with 2 beautiful children and a peaceful home. At work, with historic promotions that shattered glass ceilings and pushed beyond the limits of the skies.
Mrs. Nneka Onyali Ikpe, MD, CEO, Fidelity Bank PLC.
Dr. Ken Onyali Ikpe, who is the Group Managing Director, CEO, Insight Redefini Group.
In the words of Diane Marichild, a woman is the full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. And this has been the story of Dr. Ken's fiercely loyal and supportive wife of many years.
Strong pedigree, fantastic family, good education, beautiful, yet well-mannered.
He's been a great father to the children, a disciplinarian, very dependable husband, to the extent that whatever he tells you in the morning is what it will be in the afternoon, and that's what it will be in the evening. And you can take his word to the bank.
Loyal, classy, and very, very knowledgeable.
If you look at places he's worked and the positions he's held, you know that he's a very rare breed.
Every moment with him is always a takeaway.
Ken is very focused and quite consistent. He's quite engaging and very cerebral.
He's highly cerebral. That's why he's grown the company that he worked with to where they are now.
As the group CEO of Insight Redefini Group, he became a principal force in the revolutionary team of strategists that saw the company grow from just one entity to a conglomerate with 13 fully functional and competitive companies. Resigning voluntarily in March of 2022, he left behind a formidable institution that still stands tall as Sub-Saharan Africa's biggest marketing communications and consumer consulting group.
He's a brand master, so he's forever branding. Branding is his life.
It comes alive once you start talking about branding.
We were trying to restructure the company, so he came to do a strategy session with us. For the 2-hour session that he took us on, everybody had renewed and heightened respect for him.
With a record so impeccable, a story so inspiring, and a man so endowed, one can only imagine what a full circle of his moon and the bright star in his skies would bring to our dimming civilization.
My best wishes for Ken will be, of course, for God to bless him more, to grant him good health, sound mind and body, and of course to achieve his dreams.
I pray Psalm 20 verse 4 for him. The Lord will grant him his heart's desires and make his plans to succeed.
I wish him many more fruitful years in good health. Above all, that God will open the eyes of the Nigerian people to know who this guy is. That he should be able to give to the country some of the things that is deposited inside him.
Long life with very good health, and to transfer what he has in his head, his knowledge, to the younger generation.
I want to wish him very many more years in excellent health, more prosperity, more happiness, and a greater future than the past.
Happy birthday, my brother.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, Ken, this is to wish you a special, very happy birthday.
To my love and rock, I wish you a happy birthday today and many more years ahead.
The greatest thing about a man is his ability to transcend himself, his environment, and to be what he dreams of being. Truly see knows. you've always dreamed of being more. We wish you a trailblazing onward journey to becoming so much more from the 6th floor. Happy birthday, Dr. Ken Onyali Ikpe.